All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. It's Fine Tuesday, last day of October. So let's go ahead and dive in. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab the pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. We're going to dive into trading economics. Got some data that we got to go through. Then we will take a look at the charts and see where we are, what's happening, and where we go from here. So before we dive in, drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay. All right, cool deal. Let me check one thing real quick. All right, perfect. So let's slide over. Boom. All right. So let's full screen. There we go. So Eurozone inflation rate falls to a 2-year low. Inflation rate in the Eurozone declined to 2.9% year on year in October, reaching the lowest level since July 2021 and falling slightly below the market consensus of 3.1. A preliminary estimate showed. Meanwhile, the core rate, which filters out volatile food and energy, also cooled to 4.2%, marking its lowest since July 2022. So things are starting to slow down in the Eurozone, okay, from an inflationary perspective. So definitely something for us to continue to watch and pay attention to in those for those Euro pairs. Also had Euro area GDP contract in Q3. Had French Q3 GDP slowed as expected. Then the big news that happened last night, Bank of Japan kept its key short-term interest rates unchanged at negative 0.1%. And its 10-year bond yields at around 0 in this October meeting. As widely expected, at the same time, the central bank redefined its 1% as a loose upper bound rather than a rigid cap, and scrapped a pledge to guard the levels on those bond yields. Since July, the long-term interest rate has been capped at 1%, an interest rate over the previous cap of 0.5. In a quarterly outlook, the BOJ revised higher inflation forecast for fiscal year 2023 and 2024 to 2.8% from 1.3% and 1.2% respectively, exceeding its 2% target for fiscal year 2025. The CPI is projected to ease to 1.7% due to the waning impact of high oil prices and the past rise in import prices. Meanwhile, policymakers viewed that Japan's economy was likely continue recovering moderately, supported by pent-up demand, and highlighted downward pressure from slowing global recovery. So, all that said, Bank of Japan kept their rate the same. So we'll take a look at those yen crosses and see what they did at the levels that they were at. The board did reiterate that it will not hesitate to take extra easing measures if needed, right? So now they're saying if we need to, we'll make a change, right? They're not fully stuck at that level. So slowly starting to change the narrative, but not just yet, which that's what we've been talking about so far. So that's the Bank of Japan. And Treasury yields fall as U.S. cuts borrowing needs. So we got yields coming down. We'll also see the dollar retracement there. And then China manufacturing unexpectedly sinks. All right. Largest oil consumer. So we'll see some impacts there. Over to the calendar. We see that data from last night for the Bank of Japan. We also had Spanish CPI yesterday and German CPI as well. Let me refresh this real quick. There we go. So you see those CPI numbers there. German CPI also came in below expectation, pointing to more downward pressure on the euro. Then this morning, you see the CPI data here for the Eurozone. Later on today, we have GDP month over month for the Canadian dollar, employment cost index quarter over quarter for the United States. And we have consumer confidence for the US at 10 o'clock. And tonight, unemployment rate and employment change for the New Zealand dollar. So that's definitely something we want to watch as well. Seeing as that New Zealand dollar has been at some interesting levels with some of those pairs. So that's it from a fundamental perspective. Wednesday, we do have ADP, non-farm employment change, ISM services manufacturing, job openings, and then the FOMC press conference at 2 o'clock. So that's where eyes will be pointed this week, looking to see what the Fed does. And then we also have on Thursday, pound rate statement coming out of the UK. Yeah. And then our regular cycle at the end of the week. So any questions from a fundamental perspective, or is there anything that you guys saw that caught your eye? Nope. All right, cool deal. So let's hop over to the charts and see what we see. Starting with the dollar. Made that retracement off the top of that range. Got a little bit of push up yesterday, and we're coming back down. All right, so pulling back nonetheless, right? We got the support level 13,094 on the DXY, so we're still caught in this range. We'll see what happens at the FOMC press conference and what they do with the interest rate come tomorrow. But we could see this continue to trickle to the downside as those bond yields also continue to retreat a bit. Back to the daily, right? That's what it looks like on the daily time frame, just hovering in that range there. All right. So that's just a quick look at the DXY. Cool deal. And Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you, man?
I am doing well, dude. How about yourself?
Oh, man, I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody else doing? Pretty good, I hope. Yeah,
Think
man.
so. Think so. Yes. Thoughts. Fundamentally, you see anything in the market that caught your eye, or anything that you're watching?
We got, just looking at the euro area inflation rate coming
Yeah.
down, right? Which is what they said, right? The lagging effects held rates. Some people were questioning that little bit of a dovish tone, that Lagarde had, but that declined. Then we got, like you said, you were just talking about those bond yields coming down. And that's on the heels of the report saying that the government plans to borrow less money.
Yep.
Than before. That impacts investor sentiment and the fact that it's kind of a supply and demand thing, right? If they borrow less money, that means they're going to issue less bonds, right? So you've got less bond supply in the market, which is going to push the price up. on bonds. So the price on bonds goes up, it's an inverse effect with the yield, right? So bond prices go up, yields come down. And so you get lesser return. So we're seeing that stave off a little bit, and we'll see how large of an impact that has. Being that Wednesday, everybody's waiting on that rate decision and the four guides from the Fed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Happy Halloween. I see from Reese. Happy
Yes, sir.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. So other than that, man, I mean, coming out of the ritual, we said it's gonna be a busy week. There's a lot of data coming out, so the market's kind of bouncing around as expected.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate the
Yep,
breakdown on the bond yield piece.
for sure.
Um, so let's um we'll take a look at the yens, and then I want to go through some of the pairs that we have on the table. So that dollar yen, actually didn't get a chance to look at it this morning, but boom. If I can get it to stay. There we go. Run off to the upside. All right. As expected, they held the rate and price pushing long. Okay. We were looking for the 80-20 scenario here on the 1 hour time frame. But with that hold and not a change in the sentiment, right? We'll see price push to the upside. So we could likely get to that D extension here on the 1 hour time frame. All right. Let's go back to the daily and walk through this, update the levels here.
Check your
So
4 hour too, Ryan.
yes, sir. We'll do. Just want to update these levels here real quick. Boom. So we're pushing back to that daily resistance level there, right? The extension on the daily time frame 152.205. If we break this level, could be in sight, right? A strong bullish candle there. So we'll see how things continue to move, but overall price has been moving to the upside off of this long C to D push. Coming down to the four, I have to run the fib again off the low. Take the cloud off. Boom. There we go. All right. So we're did we get to that? I think we hit that 382 with this wick. But pushing back to this daily resistance level, the low there 142 352, 142 369. So with that wick, we did get to that 382 level, pushing back to the upside. So we'll see again, right, if we're able to break above this daily resistance level at 157.749. That 150 mark has been a key level for the Bank of Japan to watch, but they're more looking at some of these sharp movements. So we'll watch to see if anything kicks up, if these sharp movements to the upside continue. Okay. But that 157.49 is going to be a key level for us to pay attention to see if we get any movement back down to the downside on this yen. Okay, so we'll continue to watch that and see. We'll track Japan Today and Japan Times to see if the Bank of Japan does have any concerns with the sharp volatile movement in this pair. But that's where we are, pushing to the upside. We'll see if we reject off that level or if we break, retest, or continue to the upside, right? If we break that level, like I said, D extension definitely in sight there, which will also be that D extension on the daily time frame as well. So that is the dollar yen. And then back to the 1 hour time frame. Like so. All right. So any questions on the dollar yen? We'll see if we get a
Nope.
double top here or not. All right. Nope. All right. Cool deal. go to the, I haven't updated this chart in a minute, but it's NZD-JPY. Let's clean it up here. And there we go. All right, so let's come back to the daily. Boom, we'll update some levels here. Support level there. And then resistance level there. Boom. All right, so pushing to the upside on this NZD-JPY as well, right? So that lends us more to, right, risk on, strong bullish action, breaking some resistance levels here, right? Previous resistance level, right there, pushing to the upside, above that level. All right, so we'll see if we hold above, we retest, and then continue long, making our way back to 89,933. We did get a 618 retracement here, matching the extension, 98.45. All right, so coming down to the 4, we'll zoom back. Boom. All right, so there we are on the 4. We had double top scenario, push down. So let's see what happens if we're able to break some of these levels and make our way to the matching D extension at 91,708 and potentially even 92,400 if we're able to break through some of these levels. So that's something that we'll watch and see what the sentiment is, especially with that data coming out with the for the New Zealand dollar tonight. Could give us some additional an additional catalyst to boost in the New Zealand dollar and get us pushing, continue to push to the upside there. Coming down to the 1. That was choppy. Probably going to run the fib off the high here, but let's see. Yeah. We run into the choppy mess. Boom. Put the fib out there. So we'll come to the high and we'll run the fib off the high. Right. So there we are, pushing to the upside. That's our capital fib. We're running long. All right. So likely take that A out if we get a retest of that daily level and continue pushing to the upside. So nothing doing right now. Strong push, and we'll look for a pullback or a retest and a continuation to the upside there. Okay. Questions on the New Zealand yen? Oh, all right. So, to the Aussie CAD, I'll catch the other yens as we move through these. But Aussie CAD on a daily time frame, push back to this daily level, right? 88,216. We got a reaction trying to pull back here. Okay. Could this potentially give us a double top scenario and price to come back down to the downside if we get some positive data for the Canadian dollar? Okay. Coming down to the 4, right? Still overall to the downside. And this is our little range that we've been playing in, pushed up to that level, and you see the reaction there. Okay. Here down on the 1 hour time frame is where the 80-20 scenario shows, right? Shallow retracement. We didn't get to that 382 level. We pushed up, wicked inside that 118, 127 zone, and we've been down. Right. So this one is moving in our favor. Max 50 pips right now. We're sitting up 36, right? Potentially some more downward movement to go on this one. So this one is in profit. And we'll continue to monitor to see how it goes. Is anyone in this trade to the downside? I missed this one yesterday.
Supply of bonds or increases. I'm not.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not either. Joy missed it as well. Yep. But in profit, right? So we'll continue to monitor it and see if we get this continued downward push. Overall trend is down. So we'll see if we get that double top and then a push down to the downside there. Okay. Then Aussie yen. We're long, right? Been in this range for quite some time. We're trying to break that 95,830 level, continue this move to the upside, right? We'll see if we break all of these levels to the upside, but for now, we're pressing to the upside, pushing through that 95,830. Coming down to the one, right? Here's that range, and you see we're breaking above. So we'll watch this next level, 96,833. See if we're able to take that level out and take out the A as well, right? And that'll give us a fresh AB boundary to the upside that we'll be able to track the movements long. Okay. That's the sub fib D extension that was hit. Going to be hit as price moves to the upside. So nothing doing here. Just wanted to note that break of the daily resistance level, and we're pushing to the next level. So we'll continue to watch that one, see how it develops, and wait for the 80-20s and a potential reversal back down to the downside there. Then on the one, right, there was all of the choppiness. We had that original 80-20 here, right? 1 hour 80-20 we talked about last week, right? And boom, pushed down to the downside, gave us a 618 retracement, just shy of it. And then we're off to the races to the upside. Okay. So we're waiting for a new AB boundary to form here. And then likely get a pullback, and then we can look for a continuation long, right? But that 80-20 did play out here in the short term from Friday, right? Friday to Sunday. So I didn't take that move, but I did watch it move to the downside there, 40 some odd pips. So short term and long term, these things play out, man. So that's the Aussie yen. Any questions here? Nope. All right. Cool deal. Then Aussie NZD. This is definitely one for us to pay attention to here. All right.
Hey Ryan.
Yes, sir.
That Aussie N was one of the 5-minute setups too that we
Oh, it was a 5 minute setup? My bad.
Yeah, that we spotted during the weekly ritual to the upside.
To the upside.
Yeah, it's run quite a ways now. It was like a 13 pip stop on that, man. So it was a good one. Really good one that we
right here.
Nope, go over one more. Over to the left one more. Drop it from that.
That was 26, 25, 26.
Nope, to your, yeah, there you go.
Right here.
Right there. Off that swing. Yep. We point that one out on the
missed that one.
On the yeah.
On the ritual, yep. So and that played right into that overall move back to the upside. So boom.
Yeah.
80-20 scenario, 5-minute time frame, off to the races.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
If you go to that high, that peak high where you got that massive drop that blew the cloud, the green cloud, there was another one, but I wasn't able to pick up on it in time. So took the A out. Yep.
Yep. Boom. Right. So to that conversation we're having last week, right, about these lower time frames, they're there too, man. They are there too. Right. Use the cloud as some additional confirmation, and you see we're off to the races there, right? So beautiful play Appreciate you catching that for me, bro. But played out, and it put us right in line with, right, as the data comes out, it continues to escalate that if you held that trade longer than that move there, right? TP2, 29 pips, with stop loss of 14, right? It's almost a 2-to-1 there. Then, right, another short-term play here. Stop loss 24 pips. Take profit 45 pips, right? So shorter term traders, those are beautiful setups for you, right? And put you in line with the longer term move to the upside, right? So you can start out as a scalp, but if you understand top down analysis and understand how the market is moving, right? Could put you in position for longer term play there. So great call there, bro. Any questions on that 5-minute time frame? Sweet. Aussie and ZD. Right, so we push back into this daily level, 109,246, and you see the reaction, right? You see the reaction here on the daily time frame. So we come down to the 4, and here's our 80-20 scenario. Boom. Shallow retracement, 118, 127, pushed into that zone, and now we're pulling back. All right, so we look for price to continue moving to the downside. We got a daily was resistance level. We'll look to see if it holds our support at 107. But this one is moving to the downside. So if you missed your entry, we're still pushing into this 118, 127 zone. So some opportunity there for you to enter this trade, stop loss either above the high or outside the D, right, for this move to the downside here. Okay, so off my entry there, up 27 pips. And looking for at least back to that daily level, 129. But 382 is 158 to the downside there. All right, so that's on the 4. 80-20 is in motion. Coming down to the 1, right? We also had an 80-20 scenario here. Okay. Just barely touched the zone there, gave us a deeper push into the zone on that retest of the daily time frame, daily resistance level. And now we're making that move back down. Okay, so that's where we are on this Aussie NZD 80-20 in motion. Any questions on this setup? And we'll see what happens tonight, right? With the data for the New Zealand dollar. If it comes out positive for the currency, we could see an extended push to the downside there. Joy got 2 entries, 109, 137. That's beautiful. 109, 137. Boom. And 108, 746. I love it, Joy. Another one down in the range here. Oh, at the low there. Okay. I love it. Love it, right? So we could potentially get a pullback on a lower time frame and then price continue moving down. So great work, Joy, on scaling into the trade to the downside. And let's continue to monitor to see how things move, right? Let's see here. Come down to the 15. There's your AV boundary there, right? So we could see a pullback, retest that daily level, right? 618 retracement on the 15-minute time frame and a push down. So we'll watch that as well as we move through this. Same on the 5-minute. So retracement and then continuation to the downside. So questions here? No? Cool deal. So we'll continue to track that off the 4-hour time frame. That's a larger move, right? So we'll continue to monitor that to the downside there. Aussie dollar. Nope, nothing doing there. What else do I have here? Oh, CAD Swiss. trying to get some movement out of this zone. There's a daily time frame look, shorter sub fib, right? AB boundary. We're back stuck at that 65,291 level, right? And this is the larger move on the daily time frame, looking to get this 80-20 to get pushing in motion at some point. But trying to move to the upside, right? Slowly trickling along. Still struggling to break above this resistance level here at 65,314. All right, so we'll continue to watch that. But once we get a break, right, and if we get a catalyst with CAD data, we can see this give us a nice push to the upside, which will be greatly appreciated. We come down to the one. Here's the 80-20 scenario on the 1 hour time frame, right? That consolidation in that 118, 127 zone. We're above the cloud bullish ahead. We got lagging span above price. Now we're just looking for a catalyst to push us to the upside here. Okay, so we're making the higher lows, right, and higher highs. It's just moving quite slow, especially with the back and forth with oil. So we got some work to do here, but once we get a nice break, we'll see a continued move to the upside there. So in motion, but got to be patient here and allow that one to fully develop. But 80-20 on the daily time frame and the 1 hour time frame. Any questions on this CAD Swiss? No. All right, cool deal.
Slow one, but it's moving in our direction.
Low one, but it's getting there. It's getting there. This one to be another one that we just sit in for a while and allow it to do its thing. Especially off this daily time frame look. We could be here for a while. Your GBP's coming. Yeah, for sure. We'll check that one out too, because it's slowly trickling along. CAD yen, right? So this CAD yen overall daily 618 retracement, matching the extension, bit away at 114, but we came down to this daily support level, right? 107,502. And look at this morning star pattern here. Decision, indecision, decision, double bottom, daily support, right? Beautiful scenario here, multiple points of confirmation. We close bullish here. We'll look for this to continue moving long, right? And we'll watch at 110, 767 to see if we're able to break that level. If we do, then that D extension will be in sight for us, right? But this is a beautiful scenario here, right, for long opportunities. So we come down to the 4 hour, and you see that double bottom came at a 50% retracement level, right? 50% retracement in line with the daily support. Boom. All right. So we'll look for a continued move to the upside here on this CAD yen, which again makes sense with the yen, with the Bank of Japan's rate decision. Okay. Coming down to the one. Beautiful 80-20 scenario, back down to the 50% retracement level. And you see that more clearly there. All right. So we're pushing long here, and we'll look for pullbacks and continuations off this. All right. Coming down to the 30-minute time frame. We did wick that 382 there. I was gonna say 80-20, but we wicked the 382 there on the push down, and then we moved back to the upside. So not quite there. See if it's the same here. Just tracking the fibs down. No, with that there as well. So not an 80-20 scenario, but pushed out of that 118 127 zone to the upside. So we'll watch this and see But again, look for pullbacks and continuation. So you can track this off of here. See if you get a deep retracement down into the zone. Look for buying opportunities to ride this to the upside, right? So that's the CAD yen. That's the CAD yen we're pushing long. Okay. Questions here? Good morning, everybody just joining us. Nope, no questions. Cool deal. The Swiss yen, right? We're talking about this one. And I'm still being patient on this, right? I still have this 176, 389 level in the back of my mind. We'll see if I get my wish, right? But we're pushing back long here after a retracement. Coming down to the daily time frame. Has that popped in yet? No, still hasn't popped in yet, but fresh AB boundary, 236 retracement, pushing to the upside, strong bullish candle here. Okay. Strong bullish move, breaking back above the previous daily resistance level. We'll actually adjust this here. Boom. Right. So we're pushing along. We break above 168.229, and we'll look for continued moves to the upside there. Okay. Coming down to the 4. Right. Breaks, retest, continuations to the upside. Okay, so looking for this one to continue moving along here. Okay. Down on the 1 is where we identified we had an 80-20 scenario to the downside, played out beautifully on this 1-hour time frame. I didn't take this move, but we also said we'll look for price to push down into the sweet spot and look for it to get back long. And that's exactly what happened, right? 786 retracement, push to the upside with that news, with that rate statement, right? So spot on, and we're looking long here. So we'll continue to monitor this one as it moves to the upside. Did anybody take this deep retracement move? No, left it alone. It's cool. Cool. So we'll continue to monitor it though, right? But if we break above 168.389, definitely looking for a price to continue moving long until the fundamentals tell us something different, right? But beautiful scenario there, currently up off the low, almost 200 pips, So we'll continue to monitor that one. Any questions on this Swiss yen? Actually, down here on the 30-minute time frame, we also had an 80-20 scenario for that reversal right there. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Boom. I saw that this morning. I didn't catch it yesterday, but there it is, right? 80-20. Okay, TP1, TP2 taken out. Looking for that to continue moving long. Cool. All right. Bam. So let's continue rocking. What else I got here? EuroCAD. Pushing into the zone. Let me take this out. Watching that, but we'll won't get too excited about it. Pushing long, right? Still don't have a 382 off the daily time frame. We're pushing to the upside. We got 148.289 as a daily resistance level, as the next level for us to watch as price continues to move, right? Coming down here to the 4, we're pushing into this 118, 127 zone. Benny dropped this one into the Discord, I do believe. But we are pushing long, right? Right into the zone. So we'll watch and see if we start to get some consolidation in here, right? And then price to turn over and move back down to the downside. Okay. But this is the scenario. I'm actually going to shift that there. Okay. So this is the setup here. Boom. And we'll look for the move to the downside. Like so. All right. So there's the opportunity there. We'll continue to monitor and see if we get that move back down. Okay, so that's 80-20 on the 4-hour time frame. Looking for the move back down to the downside. Yeah, so coming down to the 1, right? Here's your 80-20 scenario on the 1. Price pushing into the zone here as well. All right, so up to you on which time frame you want to track this on, but opportunity is the same. Okay, boom. So that's where we sit on this Euro CAD. Any questions here? Anybody's orders get triggered? Joy. Yep. Bam. Okay. All right. So we'll watch that and see how it develops, right? That stop loss here, 98 pips, TP1, 134, TP2, 191, right? So good opportunity there for that move to the downside on the Euro CAD. All right, we'll see if the data aligns and gives us that move back down. Okay. Questions on the Euro CAD? 80-20 on the 4 and the 1. And we haven't gotten a 382 on the daily yet. Oh, all right, cool deal. Euro Swissy's finally taken off. Daily time frame pushed above that level. So that's no longer there. We'll shift that down to the bottom. All right, so we're pushing to the upside here, right? We got resistance at 96,836 as the next level. Coming down, so old scenario there. Take those out, right? Here we had a fresh AB boundary, shallow retracement, just missed that 118, 127 zone, and then there was a takeoff to the upside. All right, so beautiful move. Didn't quite get into the zone though. So some may have missed that one, but pushing long nonetheless. All right, so coming down to the 1. Coming down to the 1. Here was that opportunity again, just missed that 118, 127 zone, right? Just missed it, pushed to the upside, but JC pointed out this crown pattern here also as an opportunity. Boom. Right? And that played out beautifully. Played out beautifully to the upside. Right? So continue to watch this one, see if we get any pullbacks and continuations as that Swissy is still sitting on the weaker side in these retracements. So we'll watch and see what happens because we did have some of that softer Euro data come out. So we'll watch and see if we get any reversals here. But beautiful push to the upside, break, retest, continuation. Any questions on this Euro Swissy?
Nope.
All right, cool deal. Yeah, we're going to close that position. All right, sweet. So that's the Euro Swiss, Euro GBP. Our best friend is slowly getting some legs. All right. So this is the move here. 786 retracement, weekly support, and we're looking long. It's taking its sweet old time, right? Since August, been just slowly moving along, but we're making higher lows and higher highs. And we're finally breaking this resistance level, 87, 180, right? So if we're able to stay above and close, and we'll look for this to continue to move to the upside, all right? So beautiful move so far, even though it's taken a sweet time. It's 176 pips to the upside on this Euro GBP. Coming down to the 4618 retracement here, right, was an opportunity to enter or add to the trade, which I didn't do, but pushing long nonetheless. All right, pushing along nonetheless. So this wasn't an 80-20 scenario, but a deep retracement on the daily time frame for a longer term, potentially a year-long swing with this Euro GBP. So, but pushing to the upside here, beautiful, fun scenario, we'll call it that. And then coming down to the one, this was the move here, right? That was the last retracement, continuation to the upside. Okay. So that's where we are. Beautiful move to the upside. Up 170 pips. We'll look for that to continue long, right? Longer term swing again here on the daily, right? Look for price to get to that 786 retracement extension level, 127 extension level there, which off the entry is 954 pips to the upside. So we'll continue to monitor that one. Okay. Put that in there. All right, cool deal. So that's the Euro GBP. Euro NZD. This one is going to be interesting. All right. So daily time frame. Here's our 80-20 scenario. All right. Double top here. And we're trying to push back and test that 182.623 level again. Right. Trying to push back into that zone. So we'll watch and see if we do get there. But this has been a long retracement to the upside. We're starting to get a reaction now. We'll see if price does turn over and press down to the downside. Why do I have this on both of those? My bad. That's the 4 hour. There's the daily look. I don't know what happened there. My bad. That's the daily look there. So we did get to a 382 here on the daily, right? But we broke back below this monthly level, and we're just pressing sideways on a daily time frame in this zone. All right. So we'll look for a catalyst to move this back down to the downside, or right, if it's going to break that level, we'll break it and then continue moving long. This 80-20 is on the 4 hour time frame. That's what we just talked about, right? So look for, as long as we stay below 182, we'll look for price to move back down to the downside there. Okay. On the one, we also have an 80-20 scenario, right? And this consolidation is right in that 118, 127 zone. Okay, so we broke back above the cloud. So a strong bullish push with that CPI data, which is interesting. A few of these zeros push to the upside like this. So we'll watch this and see what happens. But again, as long as we stay below 182.623, right? We'll look for price to at some point make its way back down to the downside and break out of this consolidation. But that's the move there. And if you want to track this off of 1 hour, there's your scenario. Okay, that's your 1 hour 80-20 play. We'll see what happens from a higher time frame. And longer term scenario, we know we've mapped out that crown pattern off the weekly time frame. We'll see if that plays out, but we got some work to do before we get there. Got some work to do. Boom. Okay. So 118 to 127 zone, 120 pip stop, 167 TP1, and 247, 249 TP2. All right. So that's the opportunity to the downside there. So we'll continue to monitor that when I pull the cloud out. We'll continue to monitor this one, right, as we bounce in this range and see if we get that catalyst to push back down to the downside. Guys, follow me there?
Yep.
All right. Sweet. So tons of opportunity, like Benny said at the beginning, right? Tons of opportunity, market bouncing around a bit. But as we allow things to settle in, we'll see what we get. Okay. We'll take a look at this euro yen. Finally broke this daily resistance level. This is another one from a higher time frame. I'm sitting patiently on and waiting for price to push into these higher ranges. Right. So we got this 164 is 127 extension. Right. So we'll see what happens as we push into the zone. Do we get to 170? I don't know. But this is the range that I'm watching for price to push into. All right. Previously, where we broke out in 2008, right? Last time we were at these levels. So we're getting up there. Okay. We're getting up there. So this definitely has my attention. Okay. Coming down to the 4. No, to the daily. Finally break above that level, right? And on the daily time frame, this 118, 127 zone also falls in line with that weekly zone, right? That weekly 118, 127, similar to the daily 118, 127. Okay. So I'm looking for a price to push here. So we'll watch this over the long term and see if we get this action, right? Push into the zone and then see if we get a retracement. So I'm just sitting tight on this one, right? I'm not trading it long. Could have taken it, but wasn't what I was looking for these yens. I'm looking for the longer term move, and there's got to be patient and allow it to set up how I see it. So coming down to the 4. So we get those to pop in. There we go. Right. We do have an 80-20 on the 4. However, right now that we've broken this daily resistance level, we'll likely hit that D extension. And this D extension on the 4 hours just shy of that weekly and daily 118, 127 zone. Right. So this D extension with the break of this resistance level likely going to get hit. Right. So for those that break and retest, right, you can look for a retest continuation or just sit tight and allow price to push long and wait for the opportunity to set up. So that's a longer term scenario that I have my eyes on, that I'm waiting patiently for. So that's the 4. And then coming down to the 1, right? You did have a beautiful deep retracement, 618 level, boom, breakout to the upside, right? So if you're looking for 618 retracements, right, these yens gave them to you. They gave them to you. Beautiful push long, right? That's almost 300 pips from last night, yesterday morning to today, right? So I didn't take that trade, but it was a beautiful setup looking long. So we'll look for pullbacks and continuations here. All right, pullback, retest, and then continuation to the upside. Okay. Questions on this euro yen? No?
Long the yen all year, man.
Long the yen all year, bro. All year, dude. Look at that. Look at that. So, yeah. So we'll see if we get pullbacks and continuations there. There's 80-20 on the 5-minute time frame. If you want to play that retracement, there's your opportunity to play the retracement and a retest for the opportunity to get back long. So 80-20 on the 5-minute time frame there for anybody that is looking for a setup on the lower time frame. Boom. No questions here. All right. Cool deal. And let's see, what else do I have on here? I'm gonna take a look at this this pound CAD. It's trying to break that level. Let's see. So we broke down, right? Broke below the level, came back, retest. We're trying to break above again. We'll see if we're able to close above this 168.395, previous resistance and support. We'll see what happens here, right? If we're able to stay below and turn over, press back down to the downside. Coming down to the 4, here's our 80-20 scenario. Okay, shallow retracement, 118-127 zone. And we'll see what happens here, right? See if it gives us a double top or if it continues to ride long. All right. The cats have been interesting with these other pairs. So so we'll watch to see what happens here to see if we get price to turn over and press back down to the downside. But there's the 80-20 scenario there. Talked about over the weekend as well. Boom. Okay. So watching this one from a 4-hour time frame perspective, see if we get this move back down. Like so. Okay, so that's the 4 coming down to the 1. You did get a 50% retracement here, all right, and that D extension is there. So will this continue to ride, or will the higher time frames control this, right? And do we get a catalyst to push this back down to the downside? Yeah, beneath similar setup on the Euro CAD as well. Yep, for sure. So let's watch this and see if we get a double top scenario here and a push back down to the downside. Okay. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? We got some setups that are moving into the zone. We got some things that are already moving in our favor. So let's continue to monitor the trades, monitor our setups, and manage the trade accordingly. And when it pulls into your sweet spot, meet your rules, pull a trigger. Yeah. Got stopped out. Nope, I dig it. That push above that high made it interesting. So we'll see if we get price to pull back down. Might give you an opportunity to get back in it and move back down. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Like we said, lots of good price action this week with all the fundamental, things scheduled on the calendar, and so far so good. It's been a good. I mean, it's Tuesday. We're already up on some trades, so
yes, sir.
Just continue to be patient and wait for your setups to hit your zone.
That's it. All right, good people. Appreciate you guys tapping in this morning. Have a phenomenal Tuesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. Have a phenomenal day. Peace.
Thank you.
You are welcome.